You've been there, haven't you, Charlie Byrd?
Oh, yeah. Well, the left bank is definitely the proper place for a jazz club.
Well, I'm glad to find you on the left bank of the Mississippi. It's good to have you in our territory, and this lovely weather, I'm sure, is a result of your visit.
It certainly is. I take full credit for it.
All right. Keep it going, if you will, please.
Okay.
When you were in Paris, you were in special services, and you met that legendary guitarist, Django Reinhardt.
Yes, I did.
What were your impressions of Django? And
well, you know, he was practically could walk on water as far as I was concerned before I ever met him. Not only was he a fantastic guitarist who played it like nothing I had ever heard, but also he had been reported dead during the war. And as far as the jazz world knew outside of Europe, he had been killed. And then when the invasion took place, they found him alive and still being a gypsy and still playing the guitar. And
did you hear him?
Yes, I did, sure.
And what impressed you about his technique? And
well, I guess you'd have to be impressed with the uniqueness of it. You know, it was very much his own homemade technique, but it was such a good technique that he could do almost anything with it. You know, it was a really fine, almost like a classical technique. It was so firm, and his rhythm and everything was so precise.
Charlie Byrd, after you got out of service, you spent some time in New York in schooling as well as in the playing environment.
It was all schooling, really.
Did you, if I mention the name Alvy West, does that strike a bell with you?
I played with that band for a little bit. I was sort of first substitute for Chuck Wayne when he was playing with them. And
was that Alvy West and his little band that played compositions like Mama and Papa Samba?
Yeah, Uncle Samba, too.
Ah, yes. That was a collection that is out of print. Was that your first exposure to what might have been the influence of Brazil around 1946?
I guess it was, in a way, although I sort of lump it all together. I had a lot of exposure to Latin American music in general, but playing with Latin musicians in New York at the time.
Who were some of the other Latin bands that you worked with?
I didn't work with any of the big name ones, but I worked with a lot of the people who were young, upcoming people like myself trying to get ahead. I worked with Mongo and Willie Bobo and all those people when they were just kids.
Joe Loco and I suppose Tito Puente was a squeak then, too.
Yeah. I didn't know Tito until later. I did work with him some, but not right at that time.
One other thought before you go back on, Stan. You received a scholarship to go to Italy and study with I guess the main force in the guitar, Andres Segovia.
Well, he could be called the main force. He certainly was more successful in bringing the guitar to the concert stage than anyone in history, before or since. Now that he's gone, there's no one taking his place. All the impresarios and so forth are saying that there's no as many wonderful young guitarists as there are around, and the woods are full of people that play anything there is to be played on the guitar. None of them are able to capture the public that Segovia did.